حبيبي يا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh to Maulana and to the participants. Welcome to tonight's session. It's the last one for the year. And I'm handing over to Maulana, inshallah khair.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم عليه. فقد قال الله تعالى في شأن حبيبه مخبرا وآمرا قولا كريما: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم عليه. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, as the message was out, that we will continue with the conditions of Salah, meaning those things which are compulsory for us to fulfill before we start the Salah. And we have already reached the fourth part of these conditions, meaning the fourth lesson regarding the conditions of Salah. And we're still busy with only the first condition, which is tahara, cleanliness. So inshallah, today we will discuss about the use of a leather sock, what we call in Arabic khuf, or for two socks we call it khufain. So today inshallah we will discuss about the leather socks, because some people do not know the rules regarding wearing a leather sock. So inshallah we will discuss first thing about is about the leather sock. As far as the leather sock is concerned, it is allowed by Sharia for one to use leather socks. And this we find from the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that the Holy Prophet ﷺ should wear leather socks, and it is allowed for the males and the females to wear leather socks. So what is the procedure and what is the conditions of the leather socks? So as far as the leather sock is concerned, the condition for the leather socks is that the condition is that the leather sock should be worn after one had purified himself. For example, I made wudu. So after I make my wudu, I place on my leather sock. And then after that, I'm able to use that leather sock without removing it for a period of 24 hours, one day and one night. And that is if you are a resident, or meaning you're not a traveler. And if you are a traveler, you are able to use that leather sock for 3 days and 3 nights. So I will explain regarding the period of the 24 hours and the 3 days and 3 nights, mean the 72 hours. Inshallah, I will come to that point again. So first condition for the leather sock, we need to wear it upon purity. So meaning we will make our proper wudu, we will wash our feet, and thereafter we wash our feet, then we will place our leather sock. The second condition is that of the leather sock should be such that it covers that compulsory part which of the feet. For example, if we wear a leather sock which is below the ankle, that means we're not allowed to wear that kind of leather sock. The leather sock should be covering the ankle and a bit above. So that is permissible for one to wear a leather sock if that leather sock covers the compulsory part of the feet. The next thing is, of the next condition for a leather sock, the leather sock should be strong enough so that when one walks, it should not open or tear. if the leather sock is in such a condition that when you walk it will tear, then it's not allowed to wear such a leather sock. The coming back to the point where I talked about the period. So remember, the leather sock is waterproof, so meaning that the water will not seep in uh, into the feet. Yes, nowadays you find when you go to some of the Islamic stores, they sell socks, which is what they call waterproof socks. So it's not leather, but it is waterproof socks. That also the conditions will be as same as the leather sock. So what is the period for wearing the leather sock? I mentioned that the period for wearing the leather sock is 24 hours if you are not a traveler, meaning you are a resident, you're at home and you're not traveling, so you have a period. So when does this period start? So for example, I made my wudu, I washed my feet. After I washed my feet, I put my leather sock. So when I put my leather sock, the period does not start at that point when I put my leather sock. The period will start at that point or that juncture when I break my wudu. For example, I made wudu now. After 10 minutes, after I made my wudu, I put on my leather sock. After my 10 minutes after I placed my leather socks or put my leather socks, I broke my wudu. So from that time when I broke my wudu the first time, from the time when I broke my wudu, at that point in time, we will count 24 hours from the time when I broke my wudu after placing or putting on my leather sock. Not at the time when putting the leather sock, but rather the first time after putting the leather sock. From then, you will count 24 hours if you are a resident and not a traveler. And likewise for a traveler, same. We don't count the 3 days and 3 nights from the time when he puts on the leather sock, but we count the 3 days and 3 nights from the first time after putting the leather sock. If he had broke his wudu in such a condition, then he will count from that time when he broke his wudu 3 days and 3 nights. So that is in regards to the leather sock, and there is certain things which I want to mention about the leather sock. When does the uh, wiping of the feet or the wiping of the leather sock break? So if someone removes, even if he removes one leather sock, then in that case, that wiping of the leather sock, it will now terminate, because if he placed the leather sock and he, what you call it, might after a few minutes after placing the leather sock, he took out one leather sock. So now in that regard, he will the wiping of the leather sock will no longer be it will no longer be applicable upon that person. He needs to do his wudu again or wash his feet, and then after that he can place the leather sock. Uh, and the other time when the leather or the wiping of the feet, if the period has expired, meaning after 24 hours, you have to remove your leather sock. If you are having wudu and the time had expired, then you will not make wudu all over again. You will just remove the leather sock and wash the feet. But if you don't have wudu and the period had expired, meaning the 24 hours or the 3 days, 3 nights, meaning 72 hours had expired, and you don't have wudu, then at that point in time, you will make wudu from the beginning. And the last thing is which breaks the wiping of the leather sock is when a person has a major impurity, for example, where ghusl is required, in such a case, then the wiping of the leather sock will now break and he needs to take the ghusl. A day after, he can place the leather sock. So that is in regards to the leather sock. This is, I remembered one more thing. For example, if someone puts a leather sock while he was not a traveler, and might after a while he decided that he wants to travel, will he will his period be 24 hours or 72 hours? So the scholars of the Shafi'i madhab said no, the period will remain as 24 hours. Likewise, if a person was a traveler and then he decides that no, I want to stay, I want to become a resident of that area where he traveled to, in that case also, his period will only be 24 hours. So how do we make masha, or how do we wipe the leather sock? So according to the Shafi'i madhab, if you take the feet and the toes, where the toes are, you will place your right hand above each of the toes and you will go up once towards the upper foot, meaning towards the shin, and that will be your right upon the on the top of the leather sock, meaning on top of your feet, and your left hand will be at the bottom at the heel. So you will start, you put your right hand where the toes are, and the left hand where the heel is, and you will basically go in the opposite direction. By the top, the right hand will go from the toe going up towards the shin, and the bottom, the left hand will go from the heel going towards the toes. So this is according to the Shafi'i madhab. Whereas according to Hanafi madhab, they only make masa on the top and not at the bottom of the leather sock. So they only make with the three fingers. They will only make from the toes going up towards the shin, but they will not wipe beneath the leather sock. So that is in regards to the leather sock. So Samir, you can put that thing which I've, yes. So the other, if you can see the screen, I've written some things regarding if someone has a cast, right? He broke his hand, he broke his leg, he got a cast, or he got a bandage. So the problem is that he cannot put water, or the water cannot reach his skin because of the cast which he got on his limb, whether it is the hand, whether it is the leg, whether whichever other part which when making wudu, it needs to be washed. So I have written some things regarding this. So when if you look at the screen, I've written the cast or bandage. Number one, wash those limbs which one is able to wash. So for example, I started my wudu, washed my hands, then I gargle my mouth, I rinse my nose, I wash my this face, and I came to my hand. The right hand was okay. The left hand, I got a cast, so I got a bandage, and I am unable to wash the uh, I'm unable to wash the left hand. So in that case, what do I do? I will explain to you. And then the third thing which I've written, one needs to make tayammum. So first thing, one will wash those lumps which one is able to wash. The next thing is one will wipe over the cast or bandage, as I've got in brackets, the whole, not just the portion. So one, for example, if someone's I don't know if you can see me as well. If someone's got injured, if someone got injured only here in the middle, the hand, We see the hand from the fingertip till the wrist, it is not injured. There's no plaster or there's no bandage. So in that case, I will wash from the fingertips till the wrist, and thereafter I will make masa of the entire hand, and then after that I will make tayammum. I will explain the method of when to make tayammum at the end. So going further down, Samir, even if you don't, all right, if you come there to the cast and bandage, so you can go little up, all right, the cast and bandage. So if you see, I've got the number one. If the cast or bandage is upon those limbs of tayammum, tayammum is, as we all know, is when there's no water, we make tayammum, and that is when we wipe our face and our hands. So if someone got injured and the cast or the bandage is upon those places where those limbs of tayammum, such as the face or the hands, then it is mentioned it is compulsory to repeat the salah, meaning after one has removed the cast or the bandage, whether one put it on the cast or the bandage on purity or not. Meaning, for example, I made wudu and then after that I put the cast or the bandage, and it is upon that part where one makes tayammum, for example, the face or the hand. So in that case, when I'm well, I have to repeat all those salahs which I have with that time or that period which I had the cast or the bandage. So that is the first one. The second one says, if the cast or the bandage is upon those limbs which are not part of tayammum, such as the feet. So if you look at the second part, I've got the, if the cast or the bandage is upon those limbs which are not part of tayammum, such as the feet. So if then underneath, I've got the 2.1. 2.1 says, if the cast or the bandage is only on the wound and not more. For example, if your finger is only injured and I only put the bandage only on the finger, then in that case, they say it is not compulsory to repeat your salah, whether one put the cast or the bandage on tahara or not. Meaning, that time before I put the cast or the bandage, I had wudu. So they said if the bandage is only upon that wound and not more than the wound, then in that case, I don't have to repeat my salah when I remove or after a few days after I remove the bandage or the cast. Then we come into 2.2. 2.2 says, if the cast or the bandage is little more than the place of the wound. For example, if my finger was injured and I put bandage upon the finger, or the doctor put a cast or something upon the finger, and might he put a bit more on the he put more bandage around my palm of the hand to keep the bandage in place. So they said if the cast or the bandage is little more than the place of the wound, in order to keep the bandage or the cast firm, then it goes further down. It says if the cast or the bandage placed after making wudu, one will not repeat his salah. So the second one says that if you have a bandage which is little more than the wound, that is just because we need to keep the bandage firm. Then in that case, if you made wudu before and then the cast or the bandage was placed upon your upon that limb or that part where it has been injured, then you don't have to repeat your salah. Then they've got the, if one never make wudu before putting the bandage or the cast, one must repeat one salah. So meaning after the bandage must be after 3 days, after 5 days, after a week, the bandage is removed. In that case, then one has to repeat all those salahs which one had performed while that bandage or that cast was placed. Then coming to 2.3. 2.3 says, if the cast or the bandage is covering more than the injured part without any need of it, it is compulsory to repeat the salah whether one puts the cast or the bandage on tahara or not. So meaning, if you broke your hand, might perhaps it's just one place of the arm, you broke your arm, and the doctor puts a cast on your entire arm. So in such a case, they mention that it is compulsory to repeat the salah, whether one puts it, whether one had placed or put the bandage or the cast while having wudu or not. One has to repeat the salah when that bandage or that cast is removed, then one has to repeat the salah. Then if you come to, I drew a small diagram. So in there, I've got there, for example, I've got in the middle wound or bandage, make masa, wipe the whole bandage and wash and wash. So for example, if you look at the diagram, I've drawn a feet which has a bandage. So I will wash those places where there's no bandage, and I will wipe over that place where there is a bandage. So then after it, I've got there, when one makes tayammum in wudu. So the answer is that before making masa of the head, one will make tayammum. So uh, Samir, if you can just show me, then I can, so they can see me, then I can explain. Okay. So for example, if I started my wudu, I got injured on my arm, and I started my wudu. I washed my hands till my wrist. I gargled my mouth, rinsed my nose. I washed my face. I washed my right hand. When it came to my left hand is injured. So since my left hand is injured, at that time I will wash whatever is I'm able to wash. Then I will wipe the rest of it. Then at that point, at that time, I need to make tayammum. So what I will do, I will make tayammum by just on the face and on the hand. Just lightly, I will just make tayammum, and then after that, I will make masa of the head and then wash the feet. So that is in regards to when one makes tayammum. That is before making the masa of the head, one will make tayammum. Right? And then as far as ghusl is concerned, so for example, I've got a bandage or I've got an injury. So in as far as ghusl is concerned, I can make the tayammum before I start the ghusl, or I can make the tayammum after finishing the ghusl. I have a choice, because in tayammum, in ghusl, the compulsory acts is to make niyyah and to wash the entire body. The tartib or the order is not compulsory. Whereas in wudu, the tartib or the order is compulsory. So in that regard, I will make my masa before making, I will make my tayammum before making my masa of the head. Samir? I know it's a bit confusing. If someone has any question, they can ask.
Maulana, Brother Rashid has asked a question here.
Mm.
What happens if the person's got the bandage for a long period, example 6 months, with the second part, like what you say, where it's covering more than what is required, more than the wound. That means you need to repeat those salahs. So what happens in such a case? Maybe example 6 months goes, does he have to repeat all of that, or is there some kind of a ruling with regards to the timelines?
As far as what I've read, they mention that there's no timeline in regard to the bandage or uh, the bandage or the cast. So they mention that one will have to repeat the salah. So let me look at and find out whether when it's now such a long period of 6 months, what will be the case. I'll come back regarding that.
Inshallah. Any other questions from any of the other participants? Okay, Maulana, I don't think there's any questions. So just another suggestion, while Maulana is talking about this is maybe not a regular occurrence, but it happens. So my advice, maybe if Maulana can agree, and when something like this happens, the best thing at that point in time is to ask our ulama for advice in your current situation if you're still not sure, irrespective of having maybe your kitabs or something. I think that will help as well, inshallah. Okay, Maulana, seems like we got no other questions. I'd like to say Jazakallah to Maulana, Jazakallah to all the participants. And like I said last week, today, Alhamdulillah, we covered the 100 classes. Shukr to Allah.
MashaAllah.
And we must thanks to all the ulama and all the participants who made this successful. And inshallah, like I said, we have a few more plans for next year, which we will announce early in the year. I'd like to wish everybody safe during this long holiday season. Take care, travel safe, and still remember that we are Muslims and mu'mins. Let's not forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on our travels. I'll ask Maulana to make a final dua for the people of Palestine before we conclude the class, inshallah.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين سيدنا مولانا محمد وأصحابه وبارك وسلم عليه. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم انصر المسلمين المظلومين في فلسطين يا رب العالمين. اللهم انصر المجاهدين في فلسطين يا رب العالمين وفي كل بلاد المسلمين يا رب العالمين. ببركة إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وأصحابه وبارك وسلم عليه. بفضل سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Jazakallah, will communicate with the restarting of the classes for next year during the course of the week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.